I want to bring to your attention a flyer I've left outside on the table where we registered. UNC Charlotte is bringing a scholar named Rucker Johnson here next Thursday evening. He will be speaking. I'm sorry. I was using my teacher voice. I thought that it was working. Rucker Johnson will be speaking at the Center City campus from 5 to 7:30, beginning with a reception, and then he's going to talk about his research that has tracked a nationally representative cohort of people who've gone to desegregated schools through their own life course, their children and their grandchildren. And this is free and open to the public, and it's quite relevant to our discussion today. All right. Some of you know me, others of you do not. So let me give you a quick and dirty introduction. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters. I've lived here and taught at UNC Charlotte for 30-something years, and I'm a proud former CMS parent. Today I'm wearing my hat as a researcher, and I have to hold my notes, otherwise I can't see. All right. So I have entitled my talk today, which I put on a PowerPoint slide, and if any of you wish to get the slides and talk, send me an email. I'm available on the web, and I'll be happy to send it to you. All right. So I've entitled it, Creating Diversity in the Schools for a Vibrant 21st Century Community. Should we develop a CMS assignment plan that creates diverse schools? The answer, in my view, is yes. Diverse schools are actually a very cost-effective, long-lasting reform linked to academic success. They foster multiple educational benefits for children in K-12, for their families, and for educators. Diverse schools prepare you to be members of a globalizing, multi-ethnic, democratic, cohesive, and vibrant society. Now, I base my response that I just summarized on the preponderance of social science research that I have been collecting and summarizing for the last 10 years. And this research shows, with very little variation in the direction, that diverse schools lead to greater educational, occupational, income attainment for all students. And I want to make this point. It is not just disadvantaged learners who benefit from diverse schools. It is children like mine and yours. I assume that if you're coming here on a Saturday, you come from a more advantaged sector of our community. Perhaps that's a mistake, but this is the kind of luxury that I think many working families cannot afford coming to a forum like this. So our children benefit, and I don't have enough time to specify the ways, but there is research, and I'll be happy to talk one-on-one on how privileged as well as less privileged children benefit from the experience. Now, youth from all ages, every social class, every ethnic group, are likely to make greater gains in mathematics, reading, sometimes in science, certainly in social studies, but we cannot ignore the fact that they also experience greater levels of intergroup friendship, lower levels of racial fear and prejudice, and going to a diverse school breaks the intergenerational transmission of these stereotypes and fears, and that is critically important. And I should hasten that the academic to mention that the academic benefits accrue to children from disadvantaged homes, both in terms of social class and racial minority status, more than to more privileged children. Now, unfortunately, our community has resegregated schools, and this is most evident since the 2002 court decision lifting the mandatory order. And if I had my slides, you could see this graph, and I'll be happy to show it to you. But the point is that it's important. We need to understand why the district has resegregated, and I'm going to run through a couple of the reasons. First of all, if we assign children to neighborhood schools, and neighborhood schools are economically and racially isolated, so will our schools be. Secondly, I've lost my place. Oh, here we go. Secondly, our population has changed demographically. We've had, in the last 25 years, we've had a 1,600% increase in Latinos, a 600% increase in Asian Americans, 400% increase in African Americans. Whites have grown, the population of whites has grown 30%. So what we see is the proportion of children in our schools has shifted, whereas 30, 40 years ago, we're talking about a black-white binary. We no longer have that, and that has had a tremendous impact. It used to be the case that the business community was very supportive of desegregation as a strategy for developing the economic growth of this community. That is no longer the case. In fact, what we have today are business leaders who are saying, essentially, what we're going to do is donate enormous amounts of money to make separate schools equal. There is not a scintilla of evidence that segregation and separate schools worked historically, and if you've been following some of the early findings from Project Lift, you will know that money is not solving the problems in the West Charlotte corridor. And if we have time, I can explain to you why, but just let me leave it at that. Another reason, not only is there been a withdrawal of corporate leaders, but religious leaders who used to be very active have been relatively silent on this issue. And also, our voting population has switched and changed. We have many more white voters who came to this area in the last 20 years who do not have a sense of what this community went through and have no personal experience with the value of desegregated education. Many black voters are weary of the arguments and essentially have what liberal scientists call demobilized in terms of their activism and are focusing much more on their own children and their own community and making sure that they can do the best for their own. There's also been what I would call an enchantment in the public arena with market-based reforms. This is the standards, accountability, privatization. And so what we have is a focus on these market solutions to educational problems. And after 30 years, I still do not see evidence of systematic, sustained improvement from market approaches to reform. Well, can we still reform our pupil assignment plan to create schools given this background? And I think the answer is yes, if we have three conditions. Number one, if there's public support for diverse public schools. Second, if there are multiple policy options that we can employ to create them. And third, if Mecklenburg County citizens engage in what we have called social purpose politics. Now, there are some steps we can take. First of all, there is public support for diverse schools. The devil is in the details. And I have, I should mention the book that I edited with Amy Nelson. Amy, give us a wave. Okay. And Stephen Smith. Mary told me to bring copies. So I'm going to go real fast. Do I have any time left?
Well, we'll come back in the 5 minutes, but take another.
Okay, so basically, there are some steps that we can take, and I'll talk about that in the next 5 minutes, essentially, to a short run and some sustained long-term steps that can create diverse schools. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.